I'm in the field of contemporary art, so I do like to see change. And you know, when you come to urban centres, I think that's where a lot of change is happening. So I think it's very appropriate for these urban centres. But I think a lot of people spend time, they go out, you go out to bars and often they're music groups. I mean, there's a lot of music and a lot of theatre. And the story is very good. And it's very much set in a Tanzanian context. So Tanzanian viewers will get the story. I didn't understand the idea of scrap until today, when I actually saw the instruments that were made from all scrap metal. So that was an added element, which was good. I think that the best thing about the idea, because we still actually haven't seen the opera yet, but the idea is about introducing new forms of music, new ways of expression, I think, to Tanzanians and to young Tanzanians. And the way they're going to combine rap, tarab, all the different music backgrounds you have in Tanzania, kind of brought together in this opera, from what I understood from the slideshow.
One of the key things is that opera as an art form is not something that is very widespread. It's not something that is very well known in Tanzania. So I'd say that the first answer is that I expect to see something new. I'd expect something novel. I'd expect something that has not been done before. But at the same time, like with all good artistic products, it has to be something which is familiar, new but familiar. I think the familiarity with something like this will come from the fact that the musicians and the people who are putting in the music performances come from a group that is very well known in Tanzania, that has a long history in Tanzania. And somehow they've disappeared. There was a time when Tatu Nane were very well known. And personally speaking, I haven't heard anything from Tatu Nane for many years. So this is the one thing that I think will be a very exciting thing, is to see the return, if you like, of this group. When it comes to the actual concept, the idea of setting this in the world of scrap metal, I think there's an analogy there that can be made with Tanzania. I think that it's a very good sort of imagery of something good coming from scrap. I think is a very nice one. I like, from what I've seen from Kick and his team, the idea of how this is almost like a journey as well, a journey through Tanzanian music. I think that is very, very clever. The fact that the storyline takes us through various parts of Tanzania, various ages of Tanzania, if you like, in which we get a chance to see or to be a part of this journey where music or a special form of music is being discovered or searched out. I think that's going to be a very, very new idea, and one which is worth looking forward to. I think that there's elements of the story which very much remind me of a German story, or a German story of Faust, or as in the UK people know it as Dr. Faustus, as a play written by Marlowe, which is a wonderful idea. It's a great starting point for any story. A story about someone or some people who are prepared to sell their souls, or willing to sell their souls to the devil in order to be able to receive some sort of magical elixir, and what price that comes at. I think is a fantastic idea, and it's one which is quite a universal. Like opera in the Western world is very much an exclusive art form. It is not the kind of thing that people, the man on the streets, if you like, goes to see. It's involved, people get dressed in dinner suits and in wonderful gowns and sit in royal boxes and drink champagne. I don't think that is something that should work or can even work in Tanzania. This is really going to be the kind of performance that actually should draw in people from very ordinary walks of life. I imagine if it's to be a success that he must have it in very public areas, whatever's the most public area in Rukwa or in Iringa or in Mbeya, if it's the church, if it's the football stadium, this is where the performance needs to be put on. And I think that once he's able to pull that off in the grandest of settings in terms of style, in terms of size, then really he has to put on, or this thing has to put on quite a visual performance. I think you've got to really make sure that a performance is put on that will make people's eyes open wide from the very, very, very beginning. Luckily, in a place like Tanzania and like most of sub-Saharan Africa, especially in the rural areas, people don't get an opportunity to see a lot of it. We don't have a great deal of theatre, we don't have a great deal of film. Television penetration is not all that deep. It's getting better, but it's not all that deep. So the chances for being able to give people a visual experience that they have never come across are huge. I'd certainly consider, I can't see myself saying no to having some kind of an input. And, you know, the artistic community in Tanzania is very small. You know, we know each other. We know the kind of struggle that we all go through. We know how hard it is to find finances. We know how hard it is to find support. We know how hard it is to find even somebody who's prepared to give you a hug and say well done after you've done something very hard. And this is why on a performance like this, I think you find that there's been lots of people who have come here. I've seen friends of mine who are working in Tanzania as artists, as painters, as sculptors, as poets. And you know, I've seen a few of them who have been here today, and I see them here for other functions at the Soma Book Cafe, which is a nice venue for this. So I think in terms of being able to support something like this, sure, I'd support them in one shape, form or another. Whether it's with some advice, whether it's to write something, an outline, yeah, I'd be very open to that.
First of all, let me explain, or let me say that I work in theatre as a director, and so I put on quite a few shows, and the tradition in Tanzania, in Swahili, is that most theatre is musical. So there's always a lot of singing in terms of putting a drama together. And that can take whatever form, coming out of the tradition of, in fact, utenzi, which we use the word utenzi, which means sung poetry. Coming out of the tradition of sung poetry, we always used to sing our poetry and then make a drama around it. So in terms of that expectation, we are quite comfortable with the concept of definitely music and drama and opera. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe that's something slightly different, or I'm not sure if there's a European connotation to the word opera, but translated into a Swahili context, and I think we use the right word, utenzi, then it would be sung poetry, which we had clippings of. So it would be sung poetry that will explain the drama, and I think that in that way it fits my expectation.
What? I'm a fashion designer who deals in arts, African fashion and culture. And to me, this is where I belong. And so I really need something like that. Yeah. I think when it comes and when they start, I'll be one of their supporter, in meaning that I will publicize it, I'll tell to my friends, and I'll be a goer of the opera. A person I've never seen before here in Tanzania. True, it's good. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. Something for my children, things that we've never seen here.